Hey folks, welcome back to Stoic Relationships. Let me ask you something. Have you ever found yourself drawn to someone who barely notices you? Maybe you've tried dropping hints, putting in extra effort, or even overthinking every interaction, hoping they'll finally pay attention. But no matter what you do, it feels like you're invisible. It's frustrating, isn't it? That sinking feeling of wondering, what am I doing wrong? You're not alone in this. So many of us have experienced the pain of unreciprocated interest, whether it's in a romantic relationship, a friendship, or even professional connections. It's not just about the rejection, it's the doubt that creeps in, making you question your worth and everything about yourself. But here's the truth. Attraction doesn't start with them. It starts with you. In today's video, we're going to tackle one of the most universal struggles: how to attract anyone, even if they're not interested. But let's get one thing straight. This isn't about manipulation or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about unlocking the natural magnetism you already have and using it to draw people toward you in an authentic and meaningful way. Now, think about this for a second. Why are some people effortlessly magnetic? Why do they walk into a room and immediately capture everyone's attention without even trying? It's not about looks, money, or status. It's about how they carry themselves, their confidence, their self-assuredness, and their ability to remain calm and grounded in any situation. And that's exactly what we're going to explore together. Attraction isn't about chasing or convincing someone to like you. In fact, the more you chase, the more you push them away. Instead, it's about shifting your focus inward, understanding your value, and creating an energy that naturally draws people in. As Marcus Aurelius once said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. By the end of this video, you'll have a roadmap to transform not just how others see you, but how you see yourself. So, here's what we're going to do. We'll walk through 10 powerful principles of attraction that will completely change the way you approach relationships. These principles aren't about tricks or quick fixes. They're rooted in human psychology and Stoic philosophy, helping you build a foundation of confidence and authenticity that no one can resist. Here's a sneak peek of what's coming. We'll talk about letting go of the need for validation, embracing silence as a tool for intrigue, and creating emotional tension that draws people in. You'll also learn how to master boundaries and cultivate an air of mystery that keeps others wanting more. But most importantly, you'll discover how to fall in love with yourself first, because true attraction begins from within. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine this. Instead of overthinking every text or worrying about what someone else thinks, you walk into a room knowing exactly who you are. You're confident, self-assured, and completely at peace with yourself. And because of that energy, people naturally gravitate toward you, not because you're chasing them, but because they're drawn to the strength and serenity you exude. If this resonates with you, take a moment to hit that subscribe button and join our growing community of individuals committed to building stronger, healthier relationships. By subscribing, you're not just getting access to powerful insights. You're joining a movement of people dedicated to self-growth and empowerment. All right, folks, are you ready to uncover the secrets of how to attract anyone, even if they're not interested? Let's not wait another second. Let's dive in and get started. Number 1. Stop caring about their opinion. All right, folks, let's kick things off with one of the most empowering steps. Stop caring about their opinion. This might sound counterintuitive at first. After all, isn't attracting someone about getting them to notice and value you? But here's the truth. The moment you stop seeking validation from others, you become inherently more attractive. Why? Because confidence that comes from within is magnetic. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who was completely comfortable in their own skin? They didn't try to impress anyone, didn't over-explain their actions, and certainly didn't change themselves to fit someone else's expectations. That energy is captivating because it shows a level of self-respect and assurance that others can't help but admire. When you care too much about someone's opinion, you unintentionally give them power over you. You might find yourself altering your personality, avoiding expressing your true thoughts, or constantly worrying about how you're perceived. This not only diminishes your confidence, but also sends a message that their approval is more important than your authenticity. So, how do you stop caring about their opinion? First, shift your focus inward. Take a moment to reflect on your strengths, values, and accomplishments. Write them down if you need to. Remind yourself of what makes you unique and valuable. When you ground yourself in your own worth, you're less likely to be swayed by external opinions. Next, practice setting boundaries. For example, if someone criticizes your choices, instead of becoming defensive or trying to justify yourself, simply acknowledge their opinion and move on. You could say, "I appreciate your perspective, but this decision works for me." This not only shows confidence, but also communicates that you're secure in your choices. Let's not forget the importance of mindfulness. Often, our fear of others' opinions is rooted in overthinking. You might replay a conversation in your head, wondering if you said the right thing, or worry about how someone interpreted your actions. When this happens, pause and ask yourself, does this opinion truly matter in the long run? Will it affect my goals or my self-worth? Most of the time, the answer is no. Another key is to detach from outcomes. When you're overly focused on how someone perceives you, you can become anxious or clingy. Instead, approach interactions with a mindset of curiosity rather than expectation. Let things unfold naturally and remind yourself that your happiness doesn't hinge on their approval. Here's the beauty of this step. The less you care about what others think, the more they're likely to be drawn to you. Why? Because independence and confidence are irresistible. When you're secure in who you are, you create an energy that attracts like-minded people who respect and admire you for being authentic. Let me ask you this. Have you ever felt more confident by letting go of someone else's opinion? Share your story in the comments below with this affirmation. I value my authenticity. All right, folks. Now that we've tackled the power of not caring about their opinion, let's move forward to the next step. Focusing on your own value. Stay tuned. Number 2, focus on your own value. All right, folks. Let's move on to the second step. Focus on your own value. When you're trying to attract someone, it's easy to fall into the trap of overthinking what they want or how you should change to meet their expectations. But here's the truth. The most powerful way to draw people toward you is to fully embrace and showcase your own value. When you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, you naturally radiate confidence and magnetism. Let's start with this question. What makes you unique? Everyone has strengths, talents, and qualities that set them apart. It could be your sense of humor, your ability to stay calm under pressure, or the way you light up a room with your energy. When you start appreciating these aspects of yourself, you begin to project a confidence that's hard to ignore. Focusing on your own value isn't about boasting or trying to prove yourself to others. It's about acknowledging your worth and letting it shine through your actions. For instance, instead of trying to impress someone by agreeing with everything they say, express your opinions confidently. When you stand firm in your beliefs, it shows that you value yourself enough to be authentic. Another way to focus on your value is by investing in personal growth. Ask yourself, what are the areas of my life I want to improve? Whether it's learning a new skill, advancing in your career, or enhancing your health, taking actionable steps toward your goals makes you feel more accomplished and self-assured. This isn't just attractive to others, it's transformative for you. Let's not forget about self-care. Taking care of your physical and mental well-being is a powerful way to remind yourself of your worth. This doesn't mean you need to follow every fitness trend or diet plan. It's about finding what makes you feel good, whether it's hitting the gym, practicing yoga, or simply taking time to rest and recharge. One key element of focusing on your value is surrounding yourself with positive influences. Spend time with people who uplift you, support your dreams, and remind you of your strengths. Let go of relationships that drain your energy or make you doubt yourself. When you prioritize connections that align with your values, you create an environment where you can thrive. Here's the beauty of this step. When you focus on your value, you stop chasing others for validation. Instead, people are drawn to you because they can see the confidence and authenticity you bring to the table. You're no longer trying to fit into someone else's mold. You're creating a space where they want to belong. So, let me ask you this. What's one way you're embracing your value today? Share it in the comments below with this affirmation. I know my worth. All right, folks. Now that we've explored the importance of focusing on your own value, let's dive into the next step, creating an air of mystery. Stay with me. Number 3, create an air of mystery. All right, folks, let's dive into the third step, creating an air of mystery. There's something undeniably captivating about a person who doesn't reveal everything about themselves all at once. It's not about being secretive or distant. It's about leaving enough unsaid to keep others intrigued and wanting to learn more about you. Have you ever met someone who shared every detail about their life right away? While openness can be refreshing, it often removes the excitement of discovery. On the other hand, people who reveal themselves gradually tend to spark curiosity. This isn't manipulation. It's about pacing how much you share so that others are naturally drawn to you. So, how do you cultivate this air of mystery? Start by embracing the power of silence. In conversations, you don't always need to fill every pause or rush to explain your thoughts. Sometimes, a thoughtful pause or a subtle smile can say more than words ever could. It gives the impression that you're confident in your presence and don't feel the need to overcompensate. Another strategy is to keep certain aspects of your life private. For example, if someone asks about your plans or goals, you might respond with something like, "I'm working on something exciting. I'll share more when the time is right." This creates a sense of anticipation without coming across as evasive. People naturally gravitate toward those who leave them wanting to know more. Let's talk about social media for a moment. In today's digital age, it's easy to overshare. While it's great to connect and express yourself online, consider what you post carefully. Share highlights that reflect your personality and achievements, but don't reveal everything. Leave some aspects of your life offline. It adds depth and intrigue to who you are. One of the keys to mystery is unpredictability. Routine and predictability can sometimes lead to stagnation in relationships. By introducing small surprises, like trying a new hobby, exploring a new place, or having unexpected insights during a conversation, you keep the dynamic fresh and engaging. This isn't about being inconsistent. It's about showing that you're multifaceted and full of surprises. Now, creating an air of mystery doesn't mean being aloof or unapproachable. It's about balancing openness with a sense of self-possession. When you're confident in who you are, you naturally draw people in without needing to overshare or seek approval. Here's the beauty of this step. Mystery fuels attraction. It creates a dynamic where others are eager to spend more time with you to uncover the layers of your personality. And the more they discover, the more they're drawn in. Let me ask you this. What's one way you can embrace mystery in your interactions? Share it in the comments below with this affirmation: I embrace my mystery. All right, folks. Now that we've uncovered the power of creating an air of mystery, let's move on to the next step. Mastering the art of silence. Stick with me. Number 4. Master the art of silence. All right, folks, let's move on to the 4th principle. Master the art of silence. In a world where constant communication is the norm, silence can be one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal. When used effectively, silence creates intrigue, commands respect, and gives you the space to assess situations clearly. Imagine this. You're in a conversation, and instead of rushing to fill every gap with words, you take a moment to pause. That silence speaks volumes. It shows you're not desperate for validation, that you're thoughtful, and that you're confident enough to let the moment breathe. This is the kind of energy that naturally draws people in. Why is silence so powerful? First, it creates space for curiosity. When you're not constantly explaining yourself or over-communicating, you leave room for others to wonder about you. This doesn't mean being evasive or withholding. It's about being intentional with your words. For example, instead of oversharing your plans, you might simply say, I have some exciting things coming up. That small hint invites curiosity and keeps the conversation dynamic. Silence is also a tool for reflection. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to say something you regret in the heat of the moment? By embracing silence, you give yourself the chance to think before you speak. This allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than react emotionally, which is a hallmark of emotional intelligence. Let's talk about how silence can shift power dynamics. When someone pulls away or tests your boundaries, staying silent instead of chasing after them can completely change the situation. Silence sends a clear message. I respect myself enough not to beg for your attention. This doesn't mean ignoring people or playing games. It means valuing your peace and letting them come to you on their own terms. Now, how do you practice this principle? Start by embracing pauses in conversations. If someone asks you a question, take a moment to consider your response before speaking. This not only gives you time to formulate a thoughtful reply, but also demonstrates confidence and composure. Another way to master silence is to resist the urge to respond immediately in digital communication. For instance, if you receive a text or message, take a little time before replying. This shows you're not overly reliant on constant interaction and that you have your own priorities. Let me ask you this. How have you used silence to strengthen your relationships or interactions? Share your thoughts in the comments below with this affirmation. I find strength in silence. All right, folks. Now that we've explored the art of silence, the next step is all about sparking curiosity. How to keep others intrigued and wanting more. Let's keep moving forward. Number 5. Spark curiosity by being unpredictable. Picture this. You're in a conversation and someone tells you about their weekend. You expect the usual resting, maybe running errands, but instead, they casually mention trying salsa dancing for the first time. Instantly, you're intrigued. What inspired them? Do they dance often? What else might they try next? That's the magic of unpredictability. It keeps things fresh and exciting. Unpredictability doesn't mean being inconsistent or unreliable. Instead, it's about introducing a sense of surprise that sparks curiosity. Think of it as a way to stay dynamic in how you interact and present yourself. For example, if you're used to a particular routine in conversations, talking about work or daily life, switch gears. Bring up something unexpected, like a unique hobby, a new goal, or even a thought-provoking question. This small shift can instantly make interactions more engaging. But unpredictability isn't just about what you say, it's about what you do. Try something new in your own life. Take up an activity you've never considered before, explore a different interest, or visit a place you've always been curious about. Not only does this add excitement to your life, but it also gives you fresh stories and experiences to share. Let's take it further. When you're communicating digitally, through texts or social media, being unpredictable can mean not always replying instantly or breaking out of your usual patterns. Instead of a routine good morning text, you might share an inspiring quote or a quick snapshot of something unique you've encountered that day. This subtle change keeps others intrigued and eager to engage with you. Now, here's the real beauty of unpredictability. It challenges the status quo. In relationships, predictability can sometimes lead to stagnation. By introducing small surprises, you remind others that there's always more to discover about you, and that's an incredibly magnetic quality. If you're finding this content helpful, take a moment to hit that subscribe button and become part of our growing community at Stoic Relationships. By joining, you'll gain even more tools to keep your relationships dynamic and fulfilling. Let me ask you this. What's one surprising thing you've done recently that left a lasting impression? Share it in the comments below with this affirmation: I embrace my uniqueness. All right, folks. The next step will reveal how to create strong, healthy boundaries that enhance your connections. Let's keep moving forward. Number 6. Set boundaries that command respect. Imagine this. Folks, you're in a relationship, be it romantic, friendship, or professional, and you find yourself constantly saying yes to things you're not comfortable with. You feel drained, unappreciated, and unsure of where you stand. Sound familiar? That's what happens when you lack boundaries, and it's time to change that narrative. The 6th step is all about setting boundaries that command respect. Boundaries aren't about pushing people away. They're about defining what's acceptable and ensuring your well-being is a priority. When you set clear boundaries, you communicate self-respect and confidence, two qualities that are incredibly attractive. Let's start with understanding your needs. Ask yourself, what behaviors, expectations, or interactions leave me feeling uncomfortable or undervalued? Whether it's someone constantly interrupting your time, expecting you to overextend yourself, or crossing emotional lines, identifying these moments is the first step toward setting boundaries. Once you've identified your needs, the next step is clear communication. For example, if someone consistently interrupts your personal time, you might say, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but I need uninterrupted time for myself to recharge. Let's reconnect at a more convenient time. Notice how this isn't confrontational, it's assertive yet respectful. Here's the thing about boundaries. They need to be consistent. If you set a boundary but don't enforce it, others may take it as a suggestion rather than a firm line. For instance, if you tell someone you're unavailable after a certain hour, stick to that limit. Over time, this consistency shows that your boundaries aren't negotiable, and people will naturally begin to respect them. Boundaries also require balance. It's not about shutting people out, but finding a healthy dynamic where your needs and theirs coexist. For example, in a romantic relationship, setting boundaries might look like carving out alone time without neglecting quality time together. This balance not only protects your peace, but also strengthens the relationship by ensuring mutual respect. Let's not forget that boundaries go beyond saying no, and they're about knowing your worth and refusing to settle for less. When someone oversteps, your response should reflect your confidence and self-respect. For instance, if someone's behavior makes you uncomfortable, calmly but firmly state how it affects you and what you need to change moving forward. Now, let me ask you this. What's one boundary you've set recently that's made a positive impact in your life? Share it in the comments below with this affirmation. I protect my peace. All right, folks, as you embrace the power of boundaries, you'll find that respect naturally follows. Next up, we'll explore how to cultivate a mindset of abundance that enhances your confidence and relationships. Let's keep moving forward together. Number 7. Embrace the power of emotional detachment. All right, folks, let's dive into the 7th step, embracing the power of emotional detachment. At first, this might sound counterproductive, especially when you're trying to attract someone, but emotional detachment doesn't mean being cold or indifferent. It means learning to let go of over-attachment and staying in control of your emotions. This shift in mindset can make you more confident, self-assured, and ultimately more attractive. Have you ever noticed how people tend to pull away when you come across as overly invested or desperate? It's human nature to value what feels balanced and composed over what seems overly reliant or clingy. Emotional detachment allows you to create that balance by prioritizing your peace and well-being over seeking constant reassurance from others. The first step to emotional detachment is recognizing that your self-worth doesn't depend on how someone else feels about you. When you stop tying your value to external validation, you gain a sense of independence that others can't help but respect. For example, if someone cancels plans, instead of feeling rejected, you might think, "That's their loss, and I'll use this time to focus on something meaningful to me." Another key to mastering emotional detachment is learning to focus on the present moment. Often, over-attachment stems from worrying about what could happen in the future or dwelling on past interactions. By staying present and grounded, you free yourself from unnecessary anxiety and bring your best self to every interaction. Let's talk about boundaries within emotional detachment. Detachment doesn't mean shutting people out or refusing to care. It means knowing where to draw the line. For example, if someone's behavior starts to affect your peace, you can step back without feeling guilty. This doesn't make you unkind. It shows that you value yourself enough to prioritize your emotional health. One practical tip for emotional detachment is to diversify your focus. If your thoughts are constantly centered on one person, it's easy to become overly reliant on their attention. Instead, channel that energy into other areas of your life, like hobbies, friendships, or personal growth. When your life feels full and balanced, you're less likely to over-attach to a single connection. Here's the best part about emotional detachment. It often has the opposite effect of what you'd expect. When you stop clinging and start focusing on your own life, people naturally take notice. They're drawn to your independence and the sense of mystery it creates, making them want to invest more in the relationship. Let me ask you this. What's one way you've practiced emotional detachment in your relationships? Share it in the comments below with this affirmation: I choose peace. All right, folks, as you embrace emotional detachment, you'll find that it's not about giving up. It's about showing up as your strongest, most self-assured self. Let's move on to the next step, where we'll explore how to build deep and meaningful connections. Number 8. Build deep and meaningful connections. All right, folks, let's talk about the 8th step, building deep and meaningful connections. Attraction may start with intrigue and chemistry, but what truly makes someone stay is the quality of the connection you share. It's not about being perfect or always saying the right thing. It's about fostering a relationship where both people feel valued, understood, and supported. Think about the most meaningful relationships in your life. Chances are, they're built on trust, empathy, and mutual respect. These qualities don't just happen overnight. They require effort, intentionality, and a willingness to open up. So, how do you start building these deeper connections? The first step is to listen more than you speak. When you truly listen, not just to respond but to understand, you create a space where the other person feels seen and heard. For example, instead of jumping in with your own story, ask thoughtful questions like, "How did that make you feel?" Or "What's been on your mind lately?" This shows that you value their perspective and are genuinely interested in their experiences. Next, practice vulnerability. This doesn't mean spilling all your secrets or oversharing. It's about being honest and authentic. Sharing a personal story or admitting a challenge you've faced can create a sense of trust and relatability. For instance, if someone shares their fear of failure, you might respond with a similar experience and how you overcame it. Vulnerability, when done appropriately, builds bridges between people. Another essential aspect of meaningful connections is consistency. Relationships flourish when there's a sense of reliability and stability. This doesn't mean you need to be available 24/7, but small actions, like remembering important details, checking in regularly, or following through on commitments, show that you care and can be counted on. Let's not overlook the importance of shared experiences. Engaging in activities together, whether it's trying a new hobby, traveling, or even something as simple as cooking a meal, helps create memories that strengthen your bond. These moments become touch points in your relationship, giving you a shared history that deepens your connection. Finally, respect individuality. Meaningful relationships aren't about merging identities. They're about celebrating differences while finding common ground. Encourage the other person's growth and interests, even if they're different from your own. This balance of independence and togetherness is what keeps relationships both exciting and fulfilling. Let me ask you this. What's one way you nurture meaningful connections in your relationships? Share your thoughts in the comments below with this affirmation: I value genuine connection. All right, folks, as we explore the power of meaningful connections, you'll see how they transform not only your relationships, but also your own sense of fulfillment. Stay with me as we move to the next step, one that ties all these principles together. Number 9, balance giving and receiving. All right, folks, let's dive into step 9, balancing giving and receiving. Relationships, whether romantic, professional, or personal, thrive on balance. When one person gives too much or the other takes too often, the dynamic becomes strained. True attraction and connection come from creating a dynamic where both people feel valued and invested in the relationship. Let's start with the concept of giving. It feels good to give, doesn't it? Whether it's offering your time, support, or kindness, giving can strengthen bonds and show the other person that you care. But here's the key. Giving should come from a place of generosity, not obligation. When you give out of a desire to please or gain approval, it can lead to burnout or resentment. Ask yourself, am I giving because I want to or because I feel like I have to? This simple question can help you evaluate whether your actions are driven by authenticity or external pressure. For example, if you're constantly the one making plans or offering support without receiving the same effort in return, it's worth reassessing the dynamic. Now, let's talk about receiving. For some, this can feel uncomfortable, like you're being selfish or imposing. But receiving is just as important as giving. It allows the other person to show their care and effort, creating a sense of mutual investment in the relationship. Imagine how it feels when someone genuinely accepts your help or a thoughtful gesture. It deepens the connection, doesn't it? By allowing yourself to receive, you're giving the other person an opportunity to feel that same satisfaction. Balancing these two aspects, giving and receiving, requires mindfulness. For instance, if you notice that a relationship is feeling one-sided, take a moment to reflect. Are you overextending yourself, or are you holding back from letting the other person contribute? It's important to communicate your feelings openly. For example, you might say, "I really appreciate everything you do, and I want to make sure we're both contributing equally. What do you think?" This balance also applies to emotional support. Being a good listener and offering advice is valuable, but it's equally important to share your own feelings and allow others to support you. This mutual exchange creates a safe space where both people feel heard and valued. Here's the magic of balancing giving and receiving. It fosters respect and reciprocity. When both people are invested, the relationship feels equal and fulfilling. This balance also communicates self-respect. It shows that while you're willing to give, you also recognize your own worth and expect the same in return. Let me ask you this. How do you balance giving and receiving in your relationships? Share your experiences in the comments below with this affirmation. I honor balance. All right, folks, as we uncover this principle, it becomes clear that healthy relationships aren't about keeping score. They're about creating a dynamic where both people flourish. Stick around as we dive into the final step that ties everything together beautifully. Number 10, stay true to your authentic self. All right, folks, we've reached the 10th and final step. Stay true to your authentic self. In a world where it's easy to get caught up in trying to impress others or meet societal expectations, there's nothing more powerful or more attractive than being unapologetically you. This isn't just a feel-good mantra. It's a foundational principle for building connections that last. Let's start with this. Why is authenticity so important? Authenticity creates trust. When you're true to who you are, people can sense it. They feel comfortable around you because there's no pretense, no second-guessing whether your intentions are genuine. Think about the relationships in your life that feel the strongest. They're likely the ones where both sides feel free to be themselves. Now, staying authentic doesn't mean you should ignore growth or feedback. It's about knowing your core values and living in alignment with them, even as you evolve. For example, if kindness is one of your core values, you can still strive to improve your communication skills while remaining true to your compassionate nature. So, how can you embody authenticity in your relationships? First, be clear about your boundaries and needs. When you express yourself honestly, it not only sets the tone for open communication, but also shows that you respect both yourself and the other person. For instance, if you need more time to recharge, instead of making excuses, you might say, "I need some time to rest and refocus. Let's catch up later this week." That honesty fosters mutual respect. Another key to staying authentic is embracing vulnerability. Sharing your true feelings, even when it's uncomfortable, builds deeper connections. This doesn't mean airing all your insecurities, but being open enough to say, "I'm feeling uncertain about this, but I'd like to work through it together." Vulnerability shows courage and invites others to be equally genuine. Let's not forget the importance of self-reflection. Take time to ask yourself, am I showing up as my true self? Or am I trying to fit into someone else's expectations? Journaling, meditating, or simply reflecting on your day can help you identify where you might be compromising your authenticity. The more aware you are, the easier it becomes to course correct. Authenticity also means celebrating your individuality. Instead of comparing yourself to others, focus on what makes you unique. Whether it's a quirky sense of humor, a passion for obscure hobbies, or your unshakable resilience, lean into the traits that set you apart. These are the qualities that make you memorable and magnetic. Here's the beauty of staying true to yourself. It attracts the right people while naturally filtering out those who aren't aligned with your values. When you stop pretending and start living authentically, you create space for genuine connections and relationships that truly resonate. Let me ask you this. What's one way you show up as your authentic self in your relationships? Share it in the comments below with this affirmation. I embrace my truth. All right, folks, as we wrap up this final step, remember that authenticity is the foundation of lasting attraction. It's not about becoming someone you're not. It's about becoming more of who you already are. Let's move on to the conclusion where we'll tie everything together beautifully. All right, folks, we've come to the end of this journey. 10 powerful steps to help you attract anyone, even if they're not initially interested. But remember, attraction isn't about playing games or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about embracing your authenticity, setting boundaries, and cultivating connections that are built to last. Each step we've explored today is a piece of the puzzle, and when put together, they create a roadmap for becoming your most confident, magnetic self. But here's the most important takeaway. Attraction starts with you. The more you value yourself, the more others will be drawn to that energy. Now let me ask you, which step resonated with you the most? Drop it in the comments below. Your story might just inspire someone else watching this video. If you found value in today's content, make sure to hit the subscribe button and join the Stoic Relationships community. By subscribing, you're taking the first step toward mastering relationships with wisdom and confidence. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs to hear these insights. Thank you for spending your time with me today. Until next time, stay strong, stay authentic, and as always, take care of yourselves and your relationships. I'll see you in the next video.